Hello? Ain't that some shit? Hello, boys and girls. You're now watching Peter's Raw Recap. And tonight's Raw is from New Orleans. New Orleans? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I like calling it New Orleans. I think that's how they say it down there. So it's New Orleans, not New Orleans. New Orleans. And I'll get into the plugs at the end of this video because I just want to get through it really quickly. But I do want to shout out all the people who are subscribing by hitting that button down below to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling YouTube page. It seems like every day I'm posting something. I mean, it actually does. Monday night, Wednesday, Saturday, sometimes Friday. So it's always content coming, whether you're watching YouTube. The Peter's Raw Recap is a YouTube exclusive. But if you go to pjtwcentral.com, you will get Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. You also get Peter Talks SmackDown, the New Day podcast, all that stuff on SoundCloud, on Stitcher Radio, and also if you have a Tumblr account, the SoundCloud stuff goes over there. So I get to more plugs and shit later. Again, I want to shout out to all the new listeners and all the new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're stopping by, make sure you hit that little button down below. And also go check out the Peter Talk SmackDown review. I think it's one of my best ones yet. And I had fun recording it, and I got a lot off my chest talking about how I feel that WWE is moving. But without further ado, let's give this recap. Again, the full-on review is with Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, and that'll be on Wednesday, uploaded around maybe 9 o'clock or so. But yeah, this is just a recap. I just give you a quick dab on how I feel, and then the full review is Wednesday. So this week, Raw is in New Orleans, and it's the go-home show to the Money in the Bank. And on commentary, you have Michael Cole, JBL, and Byron Saxton. We don't have Jerry King Lawler or Booker T. Saxton's in there, and I guess he normally plays like sort of heel on NXT, but here he's like he's pretty indifferent, but more of a on the face side. I'm not a big fan of his voice on commentary. It doesn't have enough meat to it, if that makes any fucking sense. But it starts off with John Cena, one of the first time John Cena's kicked off in a long time, and he's talking and blah blah blah. Then Owen comes out, he calls him delusional, and basically they end off sort of bumping heads on the idea of whose belt is more important and whose open challenge is more relevant. Cena's out to cut a promo, but Owens comes out and wants to give an NXT, another one, because he did it on SmackDown, another NXT open challenge. Cena wants to give an open challenge. Owens turns it down and says, hey, we're going to fight Sunday. I'm not fighting you for that fucking US belt. And then they both agreed to say, hey, how about an open challenge to someone in the back? And if, when they come out, they choose between who they want the open challenge against, whether it's the US belt against Cena or the NXT belt against Owens. And again, Owens is signed to the main roster right now. So for those who are NXT fans, yes, I think he has 3 more dates on NXT, but he is on the Raw roster right now. Neville comes out and he chooses the NXT belt. And sort of continue their feud because they've fought, I guess, right around the time where he became the number 1 contender again, I guess, for the NXT belt, and it was a good match. This match is, again, This show was it was tough. It was a tough show to get through. It was very long, but the start of this was so good. The fact that I didn't mind Cena coming out, being that it wasn't the authority and shit. And then you got Owens out there, and then you got Neville. Neville and Owens starts off the show with one of the greatest matches in Raw history. I'll put that down. It's the future. It was sort of surreal, very surreal to see Owens and Neville opening a Monday Night Raw, and it was a superb match. I mean, like you can't beat that match, man. And it was almost pay-per-view worthy. And it's just a sign to show that the NXT guys are moving in, and they're showing like this independent style of wrestling, and actually an independent style of wrestling can work on a WWE main stage. Owen wins with the pump-up power bomb, and Cena enters the ring with Owens lifting the ropes, and it looks like they're about to go at it, but Owens takes the chicken shit heel route and bounces, and that's what's up. Steph, Triple H, Seth Rollins in the back, and they're still pissed off. I mean, Rollins is pissed off that Ambrose is going through the streets of New Orleans, which he calls a disgusting city, with the belt, and there's this sort of like mental tug of war between Triple H, Steph, and Rollins wanting, at first he's telling them he doesn't need their help, but then he's kind of trying to get around to telling them that he wants their help, not J&J, not Kane, but their help, and they're just like, you can't do this, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna prepare you for Money in the Bank. We're gonna have you choose the opponent that you want for tonight as a warm up. Nikki Bella with Renee Young. Nikki announces that she's gonna face Summer Rae. She announces also that Paige gets a rematch at Money in the Bank. And it was weird because the way that she's cutting this promo, she almost sounds like she's competing for a pageant. Summer Rae versus Nikki Bella, which is next. Nikki wins with a rack attack. Nothing really special here. This Divas division is a bunch of shit right now, and they're doing it on their own. Summer Rae actually had, she had a good showing. You got two girls in there that are decent in the ring, but nevertheless, there's nothing to really care about in the Divas division right now, which goes into the second hour where Reigns comes out and he's talking about how he's going to win Money in the Bank and face Ambrose, the guy who he thinks going to win between Rollins and Ambrose. And then this turns into basically a Money in the Bank sort of presentation. Kane comes out, Ziggler comes out, Truth comes out, which, man, Truth comes out like he's about to spit like the illest promo in his entire career. And then Kane interrupts him to let him know that he's actually not in the Money in the Bank contest. And Truth gets on my nerves, but this made me chuckle. This made me chuckle hard because it reminded me of, what the fuck is his name? Heath Slater, when he came out and cut his USA promo on Rusev and got his ass handed to him, but it was like he just was about to do the damn thing, and I think it was the moment of the night. In terms of the overall show, to me, it was the moment of the night, and it surprisingly gave me a great chuckle. Then the New Day comes out, and then Sheamus comes out, and then Randy Orton comes out. My only beef with this is that Kane announces that he's designating everyone that's in the Money in the Bank into a match this evening, which I could understand maybe 2 matches out of the 7 people participating, but I would have much rather had them brawl, have someone like Dolph Ziggler grab a ladder, climb to the top, and take down the Money in the Bank as a symbol, and just get the crowd crazy, get the crowd ramped up for the actual Money in the Bank match. But that didn't happen. What happened was Orton versus Sheamus. I went and grabbed clothes to fold I kind of took a nap. Whatever. Sheamus wins via DQ because he grabbed the chair, tries to hit Orton with it. Orton returns the favor, hits him with the chair, gets a DQ, and he returns the favor of what Sheamus did to him last week by beating the living shit out of him, hits him with a pretty cool RKO. J&J Security and Rollins back and Seth Rollins backstage, and Mercury's pissed and got in his face about why you throwing us under the bus type shit. And then when they're bickering, Rollins says, I'm gonna fight the two of you guys as my choice for the night. Then he slaps Noble, and Mercury steps up and he starts to talk. He's like, we've had your back, now we're gonna kick your ass. And that's the first time we've heard Noble speak, Mercury speak in quite some time, if ever, since he's been part of J&J Security. We get Kane versus Dolph Ziggler with Lana on the ramp in a hideous dress. Not much to this match. We want to give this match some love, but we can't because it's Kane and Dolph trying to do their best to show a little bit of chemistry. I start dozing off again, and it gets interesting when Rusev shows up and kind of like forces Lana off the ramp. She comes down and she takes a bump to ankle injury thing, and that's how that's being played out. Miz TV featuring Ryback and The Big Show. The only thing that pissed me off about this is at the very end where everything just goes to shit, Ryback hits Shell Shock on The Big Show. And I go like, why are you doing that, man? That should be your babyface payoff for your match against The Big Show at Money in the Bank. But no, you're going to do it on Raw, on Miz TV of all places, to the feat of getting him up, The Big Show, on your fucking shoulders and dropping him in a Shell Shock. You just blew it all away. I don't know whether it's your decision or creative decision, but you're both, and all that's involved are a bunch of fucking idiots. Rowan and Harper versus Los Matadores. I guess this is I guess it's official. They're back together and they're trying to run shot through the tag team division. This is Harper and Rowan. There's a spot where El Torito takes a hard bump off the apron, and Harper and Rowan basically hits their move called the Way, which is basically the 3D. That's what it's like, 3D without the table. And they cut a short promo, and all right, here we go. Let's revamp the tag team division. Here we go. Harper and Rowan back together again to do what? I guess they won this, but one can only tell. We're all sitting back waiting for Bray Wyatt to show back up, and they all need each other right now because they are in limbo. You get Rollins and Kane backstage, and basically Kane's talking shit to Rollins, Rollins talking shit to Kane. Kane basically tells him that he's going to be in the corner of J&J. Big E versus Titus O'Neil, which was very interesting. Very interesting because the two of these guys do have a decent enough chemistry. It's a fresh match in the ring, very much like Owens and Neville. I think Kane and Dolph Ziggler is a fresh match too, but nevertheless, these guys haven't been on TV. You got the New Day with Big E, and they're doing their thing. You got Titus right now becoming the new, like they're putting a rocket ship on him, it seems, and they're really showcasing what he can do. He lost this match, but we still got to see more, since SmackDown and his amazing hot tag from the SmackDown triple threat tag team match that he had, and then this was a great showing. Big crazy dude, just crazy strength, and him manhandling Big E, very impressive. But Big E does get the win with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Wood distraction. And before they could finish celebrating, Reigns comes down to face Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston's facing a lot of big dudes. He has a match with Brock Lesnar coming up, which is pretty crazy in Japan. But it's Kofi versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wins with the Superman punch while Kofi is airborne. After that, Ambrose comes down. You see Reigns goes to the barricade, and he has a chair in his hand, and you're thinking, like, what the hell? You think he's grabbing a chair to sort of fend off anyone who's about to attack Ambrose, but it's in fact for Ambrose to take a seat with a box of popcorn and a big bag of popcorn, and he sits ringside for Rollins versus J&J Security with Kane in the corner. Both Noble and Mercury do one hell of a job in this match. I mean, a hell of a job. Rollins chemistry with them, really good. This show was a very long show and hard to get through. Again, I dozed off a couple of times, and I had to work to keep my interest. But this ended up being, in fact, a really good match. So you take what happened in the beginning, then you take what happened in the end, and then in the middle is a shit sandwich. It's a shit in the middle. It's a shit sandwich. Awesome buns, shit middle. But J&J actually get the win with the distraction from Ambrose throwing the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt into the ring. And as Rollins goes to get it, Mercury actually gets the roll-up and the pin. And that was pretty amazing. Kind of sucks. We don't need our world champion losing to a gimmick duo of short guys. We don't need that happening. But as Rollins is still celebrating, well, at least I got my belt back. Ambrose hits him with the dirty deeds, takes the belt back, grabs a ladder, and stands tall in the end. And that is Raw from New Orleans. Again, just a quick run through. It was 17 minutes. I feel like it was shorter, but either way, this is just a Raw recap, just to go through all the things that happened. 17 minutes within 3 hours of action, whatever. I'll deal with that. This Wednesday, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, and you will get not only a Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast in audio format, but you will also get in video format Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Money in the Bank predictions, which will be in audio format. We're going to squeeze on this chair, and we're going to give you our predictions. So if you want to find me, first of all, hit that button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for all those who have subscribed. If you have subscribed, share this with your friends, share all that shit. You can find me on Instagram, Instagram, SoundCloud, Snapchat, Twitter, Ellen Japanese. That's LINJAPANESC. You can also find my Twitter with my exclusive wrestling. Twitter is PJTW Central. Go to pjtwcentral.com, and you can subscribe to all of the different ways you can listen to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling content, whether it's SoundCloud, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Tumblr, if you have a Tumblr account, Stitcher Radio, and there's also an RSS feed. So whatever means you listen to your podcast, you can take that RSS feed and load it into whatever device you listen to all your podcasts. I want to thank you so much for listening. Again, go back and check out all the other content. I have my Elimination Chamber reaction video up, the full reaction of the full show, and then you also have, in particular, my reaction to Owens defeating John Cena. And that's up to maybe 500 now, which I'm pretty proud of that. That's as many views as I've gotten ever. I'm looking for more subscribers, looking for more listeners. So again, share, comment, do all those things. If you even want to talk some wrestling with me, just hit me up and we'll schedule something out and we'll throw that up on here as content as well. But until then, I hope you had a good Monday night. Onward to Tuesday. We'll see you Wednesday for the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling full review of the New Orleans show and the Money in the Bank predictions. Peace.